Prime Minister Anthony Albanese joined global leaders in condemning North Korea after its latest long-range missile test. He's met with US Vice President for talks at the APEC summit, calling for an emergency session of the UN Security Council. Political editor Andrew Clennell is covering the summit in Bangkok.
At APEC, a condemnation by world leaders of North Korea after the rogue regime fired an intercontinental ballistic missile within 200 kilometres of Japan. US Vice President Kamala Harris convened a meeting of leaders of Japan, Australia, South Korea, New Zealand and Canada to condemn the missile firing and warn North Korea. All leaders spoke in condemnation.
This conduct by North Korea most recently is a brazen violation of multiple UN security resolutions. It destabilizes security in the region and unnecessarily raises tensions. We strongly condemn these actions, and we again call for North Korea to stop further unlawful destabilizing acts.
These unprecedented multiple ballistic missile launches undermine our security. They are reckless actions, and I particularly feel for the people of the Republic of Korea and Japan who will be deeply concerned by these actions.
The idea of a convening of an emergency session of the UN Security Council is an appropriate response, and it's important that the Security Council condemn this action and then consider what further action should be required.
Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister claimed his diplomatic efforts over the week of global summits in Asia showed Australia was back.
Australia's back. We're back around the table.
But it has not all been smooth, with French President Emmanuel Macron launching blistering comments aimed at Australia's AUKUS nuclear submarines arrangement, arguing Scott Morrison's actions in signing up to nuclear submarines had endangered Australia by threatening China with nuclear action.
We were helping and accompanying Australia in building a submarine fleet in-house, an industrial cooperation. So it was both industrial cooperation and giving sovereignty to Australia because they will maintain the submarines themselves, and it was not confrontational to China because they were not nuclear-powered submarines. But the choice made by Prime Minister Morrison was the opposite, re-entering into nuclear confrontation, making himself completely dependent by deciding to equip Australia's submarine fleet that the Australians are incapable of producing and maintaining in-house.
Anthony Albanese said Emmanuel Macron was entitled to his views, but he was not for turning on AUKUS.
We are proceeding with the AUKUS arrangements. There's nothing ambiguous about it. That is our position. And we have a good, cooperative relationship with France, and will continue to engage on ways in which France can assist Australia in the roadmap that we agreed on when we met him in Paris.
Why do you think he's made the comments he has, and could France be in line for some sort of interim sub-arrangement?
He's entitled to make whatever comments he wants as the leader of France. Australia is acting. We have a very cooperative relationship.
So as APEC rolls to a close after a week which featured the G20 and ASEAN, Anthony Albanese is set to return home with several examples during the week, including through Russian and Korean missile strikes, of just how unstable the world has become post-pandemic.